My wife, the all-powerful CEO, probably never in her wildest dreams imagined that on the very day her company was listed on the stock market, I would submit my resignation. I wasn't just giving up all compensation, I was also relinquishing my company shares and my legal representative position. I knew clearly that even if I stayed, those things would never truly be mine. But the very next day after I left, her newly listed company immediately faced the risk of bankruptcy. All the investors collectively withdrew their capital, demanding contract compensation, while the new company I had founded was relentlessly acquiring assets in her industry. It all started on the listing day when my wife, intending to reward me for securing a massive investment, prepared to give me shares. But right at that moment, her dream lover, Qi Buxiao, pushed his daughter out in front of her. The little girl cried and asked, "Mom, didn't you say the company belongs only to Dad? Why do you want to share it with this uncle?" Hearing this, my wife, who usually disliked children and adhered to the Dink lifestyle, double income, no kids, expertly pulled the child into a hug and gently comforted her. "Mom was just joking. The company, of course, belongs only to our family of 3. Everyone in the room simultaneously looked toward me, expecting me to fly into a rage on the spot. But not only did I not get angry, I proactively handed over the shares and yielded the legal representative position to Qi Buxiao. Seeing this, my wife smiled contentedly, praised me for being sensible, and even promised that she would give birth to a cute child like that little girl for me in the future. She forgot that just the day before, after Qi Buxiao's trickery, she had deceived me into signing the divorce papers. And I had no intention of patching up her company that was on the brink of collapse. Right then, those who typically disliked me started to speak mockingly. One person said, "Someone here used to think he was the boss, just because he'd worked alongside the CEO for a long time. Now that the main spouse has appeared, hasn't he just bowed his head and handed over the shares and the legal position?" Another person chimed in. "I told you, Mr. Liu always favored department head Qi. The whole company loved shipping them as a couple. Shares. Well, now that fellow Xia Chong has nothing left to say." If this were before, I would probably have gone red in the face and tried to defend myself. But now, I only felt a stillness in my heart, like the surface of a calm lake. The people involved were oblivious, while the outsiders saw clearly. I understood perfectly that the person my wife, Lu Ruyan, truly loved, from beginning to end, was Qi Buxiao. When Qi Buxiao saw the share certificate in his hand, he swallowed, then skillfully refused. "Xia Chong, stop fooling around. You were the one who made the biggest contribution to the company's listing this time. Hurry up and take the shares back. As for the legal representative position, I absolutely cannot accept it. You're the director, I'm just a department head. How could I overstep my authority and take that seat?" I smiled sarcastically. If I hadn't seen him clutching the share certificate until his knuckles were white, I might have believed that lie. Lu Ruyan, holding the 6-year-old child, frowned but gently comforted Qi Buxiao. "You don't need to be modest. These things rightfully belong to you. Without you, Xia Chong would never have successfully negotiated that investment. You are very capable. I've decided to promote you to vice president." The sight of the 3 of them looking like a happy family only left a bitter taste in my mouth. From a beggar who had to bring his daughter back to the country, Qi Buxiao had become a vice president in just half a year. As for me, after 10 years of dedication, I was still just a small-time director. During social events, Lu Ruyan only let me drink until I was dead drunk, while she gently picked fresh vegetables for Qi Buxiao, a peaceful, leisurely scene. Now, she was openly crediting all the work to Qi Buxiao, completely unaware that her company always had cash flow problems. It was I who struggled to keep the company afloat until the listing day. Especially this massive investment, the investor agreed because they trusted my personal ability. Without me, the company wouldn't survive 3 days. By then, the bank, suppliers, customers, and investors would all flock here demanding debt repayment. I wonder what kind of expression Lu Ruyan will have then. The legal representative position Qi Buxiao desires will drag him straight into a living hell. I remained silent, saying nothing. My silence was misunderstood by everyone as a sign of fear. They ceaselessly flattered Qi Buxiao, the newly promoted vice president. Everyone offered a vice president Qi here, a young and talented there, praising him and the family of 3 nonstop. I just shook my head and smiled wryly. Those people truly were like weather vanes, always leaning whichever way the wind blew. Previously, when Lu Ruyan intended to give me shares, they didn't spare their words of flattery either. But just as I was about to leave, an older woman in a fur coat walked in. I was slightly surprised and reflexively called out, "Mom, why are you here?" But my mother-in-law immediately sneered disdainfully, giving me a look so scornful it seemed like her eyes might roll back in her head. "Who is your mother? Don't call me that recklessly. Don't think that just because I'm the CEO's mother, you can rely on me." Immediately, laughter erupted around us. Right afterward, she walked straight toward Chi Buxiao, a loving smile on her face. "Little Chi, Mom was stuck in traffic and arrived late. This is the gift I prepared for Tong Tong." As she spoke, she took out a jade bracelet carefully wrapped in a handkerchief. I recognized it as the Liu family's ancestral jade bracelet. Just a few days ago, I had seen her take it out to clean, thinking that after all those years of devotedly looking after her, she had finally accepted me and decided to give it. I had been happy about it, thinking that my 10-year marriage to Liu Ruyan was finally acknowledged by my mother-in-law. Throughout that time, she had always looked down on me, never showing me a shred of goodwill. To win her favor, I had taken care of her every meal and sleep, serving her as if she were my own mother. When she suffered severe burns, I had also dedicatedly cared for her, clearly showing my filial piety. But none of those things could change her attitude. Yet, toward Chi Buxiao, she was so enthusiastic that her wrinkled face was beaming with joy. She didn't just hug Tong Tong but gently put the jade bracelet on the little girl's wrist, as if making some sort of declaration. Watching this scene, I finally understood that everyone here knew that Chi Buxiao was going to officially announce his relationship with Liu Ruyan today, and only I remained clueless, knowing nothing. My mother-in-law's appearance only added more excitement to the party. The celebration that should have belonged to me had completely turned into Chi Buxiao's relationship unveiling ceremony. I shook my head, preparing to leave. Chi Buxiao, savoring the flattery of everyone around him, still didn't forget to turn and provoke me. His long, narrow eyes held a look of derision. He grabbed my arm and lowered his voice in a fake, saccharine tone. "Xia Chong, aren't you going to congratulate me? Or are you still holding a grudge?" Before I could even answer, Liu Ruyan frowned and placed a wine glass into my hand. "Xia Chong, have a drink. Consider it thanks to little Chi for helping you out all this time." I felt utterly mocked. I flipped my hand, avoiding the glass. I replied calmly, "I'm allergic to alcohol." My action caused Liu Ruyan's hand holding the glass to freeze, but she immediately followed it with a sarcastic smile. "You're allergic? You drink thousands of glasses during business socializing and never get drunk. Now you're using this excuse to refuse me? Do you take me for an idiot? Xia Chong, don't think you can get cocky just because the company's been listed." She had no idea that every time I went socializing, I had to take a handful of anti-allergy pills before drinking. Afterward, I frequently had to go to the hospital for a stomach wash. But in her eyes, there were only contracts, never me. Liu Ruyan's cruel words now showed that she considered me disposable, a worthless stepping stone after the company's listing. Thinking this, I took the glass, turned, and looked at Chi Buxiao, who hadn't yet managed to hide the smugness on his face. Liu Ruyan stood beside me, her expression instantly darkening when she saw me raise the glass. But just as she was about to speak, I twisted my wrist, pouring all the wine in the glass onto the ground. My cold voice rang out. "Chi Buxiao, Liu Ruyan, I wish you two to be together forever." The moment my words ended, Chi Buxiao gritted his teeth but quickly regained his composure, his voice feigning injury. "Ruyan, it's fine if Xia Chong curses me, but how can he curse you too?" Liu Ruyan's face was as dark as coal. Without hesitation, she delivered a slap across my face. She looked at me with deep disappointment. "Xia Chong, you are going too far. You were always so diligent and ambitious before. And now? You're causing a scene in the workplace. I truly misjudged you. From today on, you don't need to come to the company anymore. Stay home and reflect." The slap made my cheek sting, but the corner of my mouth curled into a mocking smile. Liu Ruyan had forgotten that it was I who poured all my savings into her startup capital years ago. It was also I who turned down an invitation for a senior executive position overseas with $1 million salary, just to help her, a fallen heiress, return to the top. Out of love for her, I elevated her to a female CEO admired by thousands, while I worked tirelessly, relentlessly securing every single investment. Back then, she looked at me with adoration, calling me the most formidable commercial genius she had ever met, and clumsily trying to learn business management from me. Now, she was self-important, putting on airs as the boss in front of me. I didn't say another word, turning and leaving the company. On the way home, I called my lawyer, asking him to prepare my resignation letter and divorce papers. I no longer intended to dedicate my energy to managing Liu Ruyan's company, nor did I want to continue the relationship with her. When I arrived home, I planned to pack a few personal belongings and leave. I didn't want to continue living under the same roof as Lu Ruyan. While searching for my ID card in the drawer, I unexpectedly spotted a document placed deep inside, beneath some old items Lu Ruyan had hidden away. It was the document she asked me to sign yesterday, claiming it was the wedding planning proposal. Yesterday, she said that because the company was about to be listed, she wanted to renew our wedding vows. I didn't suspect a thing and signed immediately without reading it carefully. I had been overjoyed all night, unable to sleep because of it. But now, something felt wrong. If she intended to make her relationship with Qi Buxiao public today, how could she possibly want to renew our wedding vows? I took out the document and opened it, only to find that it wasn't a wedding plan but a divorce settlement. My signature was already on it. Strangely, I felt no surprise, even sensing that this was precisely what was meant to happen. Before the company's listing, most of the conversations between her and me were merely orders from a superior. How could a meticulously calculated person like her agree to split half the company with me? Well, that's good. It saved me the trouble of preparing the divorce agreement. I calmly replaced the document, pulled my suitcase, and walked out of the house. Right at that moment, I ran into Lu Ruyan and the group who had just returned. They were laughing boisterously, faces flushed, clearly having had a thoroughly satisfying party. Seeing me with the suitcase, Lu Ruyan immediately frowned, slamming the door shut. Her voice was cold. "Xia Chong, home so early, and you haven't done the laundry or the housework. Now you're pulling a suitcase, planning to run away." My mother-in-law was carefully carrying the sleeping Tong Tong into the children's room. This room, since Lu Ruyan and I got married, I had always wanted to decorate, but she had used the excuse that she didn't like children and was committed to the dink lifestyle, so the room remained empty. Only recently did she suddenly start renovating and decorating it. At the time, I thought she had changed her mind and wanted to have children with me. Who knew this room was actually for Qi Buxiao's daughter? Seeing me look into the children's room, Lu Ruyan chuckled softly. "Can you stop making a fuss? You know Tong Tong is Qi Buxiao's daughter with his ex-wife. Why get mad at a child? She longs for a mother's affection. I was just joking around a bit. Do you have to be so sensitive about it?" Saying this, she casually took off her coat, threw it onto the sofa, and sat down with a posture full of arrogance. "Xia Chong, hurry up and fetch some foot-washing water. Prepare a few basins. Qi Buxiao has been tired all day too. While you're at it, give him a foot massage so he can relax a bit." Qi Buxiao looked at me, his eyes full of mockery. His voice, however, pretended to be humble. "Ruyan, let it go. Xia Chong is a man after all. He surely cares a lot about his dignity. How can we make him wash my feet?" Lu Ruyan didn't bother to care, waving her hand with a cold laugh. "Dignity? Does he even need dignity? Taking care of others is his specialty. He's great at massaging and even manicures." Her words filled me only with bitterness. In the past, out of sympathy for her, a young woman who had to shoulder too much, I always voluntarily did all the housework, cooking and laundry, just hoping she could be comfortable. With her mother, I was also exceptionally attentive, hoping she would acknowledge me. But I never expected that all those things would now become an excuse for her to humiliate me. I couldn't endure it any longer. With her contemptuous voice ringing in my ears, I delivered a kick, sending the nearby coffee table flying. Crash! The table fell over, and the wedding photo frame of Lu Ruyan and me dropped to the floor, the glass shattering. The loud noise startled my mother-in-law, who rushed out of the children's room. She screamed, her voice high and shrill. "What is going on?" Qi Buxiao immediately pretended to be greatly wounded, saying weakly, "Xia Chong, even if you don't want to fetch foot-washing water, you don't need to get angry to this extent. Well, then I'll go fetch water for Ruyan instead." My mother-in-law pointed right at my face, scolding me vehemently. "Xia Chong, you're nothing but a leech. You eat off the Lu family, you use the Lu family's things. What right do you have to throw a tantrum here? Be careful, I'll tell my daughter to throw you out so you'll be left inhaling the northwest wind." My mother-in-law had always looked down on me, thinking I married Lu Ruyan only to covet her family's wealth, unaware that throughout these years, I had never received a single penny of salary from the company. Lu Ruyan had also never given me any money. On the contrary, I used the money I earned from side jobs to cover the family's living expenses. Lu Ruyan's face was now icy cold. She spoke up. "Xia Chong, I told you yesterday, if you behaved well, I would consider having a child with you. But now you're showing this attitude, it's so immature. How can you expect me to have a child with you or let you return to normal work at the company?" If you sincerely apologize to me, I might consider forgiving you. Otherwise, I won't hesitate to fire you. Those familiar words, where everything was always my fault. Qi Buxiao couldn't stop grinning, yet he pretended to be serious. Ruyan, don't get too angry. After all, Xia Chong is a long-time employee of the company. If you just chase him away like that, he's bound to harbor resentment. I only looked at Lu Ruyan with a cold smile, said nothing, turned around, and picked up my suitcase. Suit yourselves. You bloodsuckers, I'm not serving you anymore. Ignoring Lu Ruyan's instantly pale face, I walked out. That evening, I found a hotel to stay in temporarily. Over the years, I had not only shouldered the burden of the company but also catered to Lu Ruyan and her mother, leaving me physically and mentally exhausted. But tonight, I had the best sleep I'd had in years. Early the next morning, I took my resignation letter to the company. Seeing me, everyone started pointing and whispering. Didn't he get suspended from work? Why is he at the company? Don't you know? He probably came to beg CEO Lu for forgiveness. Finding a job isn't easy after all. I didn't bother to pay attention to the mockery, walking straight into Lu Ruyan's office. She was busy directing everyone to set up Qi Buxiao's new office, not forgetting to instruct. Lower the monitor a bit so Buxiao can play games without straining his neck. I stepped forward. Before I could speak, Qi Buxiao assessed me from head to toe, tugged on Lu Ruyan's sleeve, and said sarcastically, Ruyan, look, isn't this Xia Chong? He must have thought about it all night and decided to come apologize to you. Lu Ruyan glanced at me, the corner of her lips curling up. Someone was quite aggressive yesterday, but now he knows he was wrong? I frowned, but Qi Buxiao didn't let up, chuckling scornfully. Xia Chong, why don't you hurry up and say some nice words? Maybe Ruyan will forgive you, and you can get back to work right away. I cut short their double act, pulling the resignation letter from my pocket and placing it on the desk. CEO Lu, please sign this. I don't have much time. Lu Ruyan finally turned to look at me, picking up the paper with an arrogant expression and a cool smile. What is this? An apology letter? Your attitude seems quite sincere. But when her eyes met the content of the document, the smile on her lips instantly vanished. I calmly continued. CEO Lu, please sign quickly, don't make me miss the chance to find another job. The very next second, Lu Ruyan slammed her hand down on the desk, making a loud noise. Another job? Xia Chong, who do you think you are? Our company is a publicly listed company. If it weren't for following me, do you think any company would hire an older man like you with your ability? Those accusations no longer made me angry, I just felt a slight sigh of regret, so in Lu Ruyan's eyes, I was nothing more than a useless piece of trash. The noise drew the attention of everyone around, and the space quickly descended into a commotion. Qi Buxiao looked at me with a look of schadenfreude, but his voice pretended to be worried. Xia Chong, you should think carefully. Besides Ruyan, who else is as beautiful and kind as her, and gives you such good benefits? If you leave Ruyan, you definitely won't find another job. Don't destroy your future over a moment of impulse. Hurry up and withdraw your resignation letter. I'll advise Ruyan to pretend she never saw it. His words were clearly aimed at belittling me, as if I truly were a useless person. What's more notable is that those words pleased Lu Ruyan, causing her expression to soften slightly. But I maintained a cool demeanor, insisting, I'm not doing this anymore. I want to quit. Lu Ruyan, who had just calmed down a bit, became so furious that her face turned bright red. She tightly gripped the resignation letter, her voice icy. Xia Chong, I see you've lived too comfortably over the years and become arrogant. When you have to sleep on the streets, don't come begging me. With that, she signed quickly and then contemptuously tossed the resignation letter onto the floor. I said nothing, bent down to pick up the paper, and turned to leave. As I walked out of the company, I heard Lu Ruyan's loud command from behind. Everyone, focus on learning immediately. Take him as a negative example. Under the sunlight, I left the place where I had dedicated 10 years of my life, silently saying goodbye. Immediately after, I called the company that had previously wanted to hire me. I asked, the offer you made before to invite me with a high salary to be in charge of your core project, is it still valid? On the other end of the line, the CEO of the company, Shin Yochu's, voice was enthusiastic. It is. I'll come pick you up right away so we can discuss the details. I had collaborated with Shin Yochu once before. I helped her handle a few minor things and left a very good impression. Since then, she had always tried to recruit me to her company. At the cafe, she frankly shared that she was the daughter of the Shun family, but had hidden her identity to open a small company and prove to her family that she was capable of inheriting the family business. After considering the conditions she offered, I was very satisfied. Without hesitation, I signed the contract immediately. At least at the new company, I was regarded as a core asset, with benefits 10 times higher than what Lu Ruyan had ever given me. The next day, leveraging my connections, I helped Shin Yuchu attract many talented individuals and significant investment. Shin Yuchu couldn't help but be astonished, her eyes shining as she looked at me. "Xia Chong, there's an important industry project conference tonight. I want to bring you along to network with some prominent figures. With your communication skills, securing a few million in investment shouldn't be a problem, right?" I nodded in agreement. But I didn't expect that at the dinner party that night, amidst the luxurious setting, I would run into Lu Ruyan and Qi Buxiao. Both were wearing strikingly bright red matching outfits, making it easy to mistake the event for a wedding reception. Lu Ruyan held a wineglass, talking and laughing with some CEO, then leaned against Qi Buxiao's shoulder. He wrapped his arm around her waist, looking like a happy couple. It's worth noting that previously, when attending parties with me, Lu Ruyan always kept her distance, even stating that we shouldn't show affection in public. Glancing over, Lu Ruyan met my eyes. As if she'd been electrically shocked, she immediately moved away from Qi Buxiao, took a few steps in front of me, and asked smugly, "Xia Chong, you're at this conference too? How did you manage to get security to let you in?" Hearing this, Shin Yuchu naturally linked her arm through mine and gently replied, "CEO Lu, Xia Chong is an important talent at our company. He came here legitimately with an invitation. I hope you won't speak carelessly." Lu Ruyan's eyes immediately fixated on Shin Yuchu's hand linked with mine. She bit her lips slightly, her fingers gripping the wine glass until her knuckles were white. Qi Buxiao glanced around and then spoke mockingly. "Xia Chong, even if you couldn't find a job, why did you have to sell yourself? Be careful, it'll be tough later when no one wants you anymore." Hearing that, Lu Ruyan seemed to snap back to reality and immediately sneered coldly. "Xia Chong, you insisted on resigning. I thought you had great ambitions. Turns out it was just to become a leech." Qi Buxiao instantly chimed in, his tone exaggerated. 10 times the benefits, Xia Chong. Don't try to keep up appearances anymore. Hurry up and apologize to Ruyan. Everyone really misses the time when you used to fetch her foot washing water." Immediately, curious eyes from all around focused on me with evident fascination. I originally didn't want to argue with them, but Qi Buxiao's overbearing attitude made me unable to hold back anymore. My face was expressionless, and my voice was sharp as a knife. "Qi Buxiao, I think you should go wash your mouth out." Shin Yuchu, standing next to me, her fair face already flushed with anger, immediately spoke up. "CEO Lu, please tell your husband not to talk nonsense. Xia Chong is now a senior manager at our company, in charge of the core project. Or are you regretting losing him?" Lu Ruyan's expression instantly turned furious, her chest heavily heaving. She pointed straight at my face and yelled, "Regret? Xia Chong is something I threw away, and yet you treat him like a treasure. What kind of project could he possibly be in charge of? When your company collapses, don't say I didn't warn you." I curled my lips into a faint smile, my voice deep and meaningful. "Lu Ruyan, we don't know whose company will collapse first yet." Her face immediately became unsightly, and she coldly scoffed. "Xia Chong, you're heartbroken over being fired and have gone mad, suffering from delusions. Humph. Our company is a listed company, with annual profits reaching tens of billions. What the hell is your company that dares to come here and show off?" Qi Buxiao pretended to sigh, putting his arm around Lu Ruyan's shoulder, his tone boastful. "Xia Chong, you probably don't know that Ruyan just signed several big contracts today. Our company is growing more and more successful. Come to think of it, if you had accepted the 5% of shares before, you would also be receiving millions in profit dividends every year." I only smiled inwardly. Lu Ruyan truly believed the company's listing was thanks to her brilliant leadership, but she didn't know that the company was already in a state of cash flow tension. Now, she was continuously signing large contracts without considering the ability to execute them. A piece of cake that was too big for the company to swallow. I predicted that in less than 3 days, her company would certainly run into trouble. As if to confirm my speculation, at that exact moment, Lu Ruyan's female secretary rushed over, her face full of worry. But Lu Ruyan maintained her arrogant posture, smiling faintly. "Is another partner looking to collaborate with us?" Xia Chong, you left, and our company is booming. We can't sign contracts fast enough. The secretary bowed, whispering into her ear. Lu Ruyan immediately frowned, her voice showing clear annoyance. Speak up. A secretary of a listed company working so timidly, it's utterly undignified. The secretary's face was flushed, her voice trembling. CEO Lu. The company currently does not have enough cash flow for payments. The suppliers have come looking for us. Hearing this, Lu Ruyan immediately refuted, without thinking. Nonsense. The investor's capital just came into the account yesterday. The secretary bit her lip, as if preparing for the worst, and continued. The investors just sent a lawyer's letter stating that there is a clause in the contract requiring Xia Chong to be primarily responsible for the cooperation process. Now that Xia Chong has resigned, we have violated the contract. They are not only withdrawing their capital but also demanding 5 million in breach compensation. Because Lu Ruyan had told the secretary to speak loudly, these words echoed clearly throughout the hall. Every word was sharp as a knife, piercing straight through Lu Ruyan's arrogance. All eyes in the hall focused on her, the female CEO of the listed company everyone had once aspired to associate with. Lu Ruyan was frozen as if turned to stone, but after only a moment, she regained her composure, her voice full of suspicion. Xia Chong? How could investors demand that Xia Chong be in charge of the contract? Her eyes narrowed, filled with doubt, constantly looking at me and the female secretary as if searching for something suspicious. Lu Ruyan smiled coldly, as if she had finally figured everything out. She sighed, looking at me with contempt. Xia Chong, I can't believe you truly couldn't amount to anything. Since when have you become so close to my subordinate? Even conspiring to deceive me, wanting to make me lose face at this project conference? Do you think it's that easy? Hearing those words, I couldn't help but smile secretly. Lu Ruyan was truly confident enough to think I would stoop so low to trick her. She had completely stopped taking me seriously. What a pity. What the female secretary said was the truth. When signing the contract, the investor had emphasized that they only trusted me. Without me overseeing the cooperation phase, they absolutely would not invest in Lu Ruyan's company. Qi Buxiao now seemed to realize what was happening and immediately adopted a smug expression. He put on a pitiful gesture, saying in a blaming tone, Xia Chong, no matter how much you hate the company, you shouldn't tarnish the company's reputation in front of industry partners like this. That's going too far. If you continue, our legal department will sue you for defamation and fabrication. People around us began to chatter. Their eyes looked at me with scorn. A person like Xia Chong, if it were me, I would have blocked him a long time ago. CEO Lu is indeed very capable. Let's see how long those two can endure. I maintained my calm demeanor, ignoring the gossip. The falsely accused secretary quickly explained. That's not true, CEO Lu. This is the truth. The investors have sent a lawyer's letter. They are currently waiting for you to return to handle the situation. Seeing the secretary so flustered that her face turned pale, I decided to speak out of common decency. Lu Ruyan, I don't know her at all. I advise you to go back to the company and handle the matter immediately. Lu Ruyan narrowed her eyes and sneered. You're quite the actor. Fine, I'll call the investor and expose your conspiracy. She pulled out her phone, her voice cold and full of confidence. Hello, President Wang, this is Lu Ruyan from Lu Group. Yesterday, when my company was listed, you even sent fireworks to congratulate us, didn't you? But before she could say anything more, a cold and annoyed voice from the other end of the line cut her off. Lu Ruyan, you still have time to call and chat? You better hurry up and receive the lawyer's letter. I'm telling you, your company has seriously breached the contract. We demand full compensation, don't even dream of avoiding it. The words were sharp as a knife. Every sentence was like an arrow piercing straight through Lu Ruyan's arrogance. Her face turned pale, but she still tried to stay calm, quickly trying to reassure him. President Wang, could you please clarify? Which clause have we violated? The investor's voice grew even colder. CEO Lu, do you genuinely not understand or are you pretending not to? Our president explicitly stipulated in the contract that Xia Chong must be fully responsible throughout the cooperation period. Yet, you fired him the very next day. Do you think doing that isn't slapping us in the face? From now on, handle everything with our legal department. Don't call me again. With that, the other party immediately hung up. Lu Ruyan stood numbly, her fingers trembling as they touched the phone screen, trying to call back. But the cold sound of the dial tone indicated she had been blocked. Realizing this truth, Lu Ruyan's face turned as white as paper. Her body swayed as if she were about to collapse. Those around, who had witnessed the entire scene, watched her with increasingly cold eyes, no different from evaluating merchandise that had lost its value. Everyone fell silent, quietly stepping back a few paces, distancing themselves from her. This silence in the suffocating atmosphere made the situation even more terrifying. Qi Buoxiao also seemed to realize the situation was becoming serious. His face was visibly flustered and anxious, having lost his initial confident demeanor. At this moment, Qi Buoxiao, who knew nothing about company management and was only good at signing papers and riding on success, was panic-stricken. He nervously shook Lu Ruyan's shoulder, his voice trembling. "Ruyan, what do we do now? Hurry and think of a solution." Suddenly, he glanced at me, meeting my calm gaze. A hint of hesitation flickered across his face, and then he whispered to Lu Ruyan. "Ruyan, if the investors require Xia Chong to return to work, why don't you try to persuade him? He always listened to you before." Lu Ruyan bit her lip hard, her voice full of hesitation. I can't be as shameless as Xia Chong." Hearing the words shameless, I only slightly curled my lips into a mocking smile. I understood Lu Ruyan's personality all too well. She always prioritized money and reputation, but she was extremely concerned with appearances. I remembered in the early days of the startup, simply because a partner asked her to make a cup of coffee, she viewed it as a great humiliation, crying and throwing herself into my arms, sobbing. I used to be a young heiress. I never had to do things to serve others. They intentionally bullied me because my father fell from grace. At that time, my mind was blurred by love. I constantly consoled her, promising to take responsibility for all future social dealings. Immediately afterward, I humbled myself and apologized to the partner just so they would be understanding. Making coffee was a small matter. Later, I even had to pick up and drop off the partner's child just to secure the contract/company decision. Yet, Lu Ruyan looked down on me for it. She raised her chin and said with utter contempt, "You succeed because you have no self-respect." I could only repeatedly explain that I did it for the project, but ultimately, I silently endured her scorn, questioning whether I truly had disgraced the company. That memory was like a thorn in my heart for years, and today, that thorn was finally removed. When I came back to my senses, Shen Yuchu was already indignant, her face flushed with anger. She couldn't stand hearing Lu Ruyan speak ill of me and immediately retorted, "Shameless? I think it's you, CEO Lu, who lacks shame. As far as I know, when Xia Chong was still at your company, he had to work late into the night every day. You squeezed every bit of labor out of him, and yet after the listing, you ruthlessly kicked him out. You are the typical definition of biting the hand that feeds you." Shen Yuchu's blunt words were like knives stabbing straight into Lu Ruyan's pride, making her utterly unbearable. Her eyes bloodshot, she screamed, "Nonsense! I promised to promote him and raise his salary. He's the one who was ungrateful and demanded to quit himself. That's right, you must have spoken ill of me to him, which is why he demanded to quit." As she spoke, she lunged forward, intending to grab Shen Yuchu's hair. The situation spiraled into chaos. I quickly grabbed Lu Ruyan's slender wrist, pushed her away, and said coldly, "Lu Ruyan, have you had enough?" Lu Ruyan was unprepared and was pushed back a step, falling onto the floor. Her eyes were red-rimmed, full of disbelief, as she sobbed and looked at me. "Xia Chong, you hit me for her? You dare to hit me?" I didn't bother to care, only checking if Shen Yuchu was injured. But Lu Ruyan tried to wedge herself between us, hugging me tightly, her voice trembling. "Xia Chong, I beg you to come back. Come back to the company, and I'll forgive you for hitting me today." I felt my shoulder grow cold and damp. Lu Ruyan's tears soaked through my suit jacket, but I was completely unmoved. I decisively pushed her away. In the past, I feared Lu Ruyan's tears most of all. As long as she cried, even if she demanded the stars from the sky, I would readily find a way to get them. But now, looking at her, I only felt exhausted and annoyed. It feels like everything is my fault, but where did I go wrong? For 10 years, I loved her wholeheartedly, shouldered her company, and took care of her life. Even when her mother hated me, I patiently endured and cared for her. Yet, what did Lu Ruyan do for me in return? I ignored my own coldness, reflecting on what had happened. Lu Ruyan was even willing to treat a child who was not blood-related as her own, just because she was the daughter of her first love. Looking back, I realized how pathetic I was, always craving a shred of her love like a despicable wretch. As I recalled the past, my eyes became more resolute than ever. The path ahead of me was wide and bright. There was no room for her anymore. Snapping back to reality, I pushed Lu Ruyan away, my voice calm. CEO Lu, I cannot come back. My composed voice stunned Lu Ruyan. Her body trembled slightly, as if something that was always within her control was slipping away. That sense of insecurity spread rapidly. Qi Buxiao recognized the situation and hastily spoke on her behalf. Xia Chong, don't misunderstand. You know Ruyan is a bit arrogant, but she truly means no harm. I promise that if you come back, the shares and the vice president position will definitely be yours. Qi Buxiao thought I was just like him, valuing fame and fortune, but he didn't know that those things were mere vanity to me. I kept a calm expression, saying nothing. Shen Yuchu gently tugged on my sleeve, whispering, "The party can't continue today. Let's go." I nodded and walked out with her. As we stepped out the door, wearing only a thin dress, Shen Yuchu shivered slightly from the cold. I immediately took off my jacket and draped it over her. Under the moonlight, we walked side by side for a distance. She sighed softly. "Xia Chong, don't believe what Lu Ruyan says. You are an outstanding financial genius, and also a polite, kind man. I've never met anyone as good as you." She spoke with a very serious expression, but somehow, I felt like smiling. This was the first time anyone had affirmed me like this. I recalled my childhood days. When I was 5, my parents died in a car accident. My relatives not only seized all the compensation money but also abandoned me at the orphanage. Growing up without affection, I craved love. That's why when I met Lu Ruyan, I rushed toward her like a moth to a flame. At that time, she was the goddess of the school, gentle and generous. She treated me, a shy boy, with respect, even proactively inviting me to activities. She once said, "You look handsome without bangs," so I cut my hair. She said, "Your smile is very warm," so I tried not to reveal any sadness. I once thought she was the light in my life, but looking back now, she was only a flame that nearly consumed me. I shook my head, dispelling the old memories. They were just pieces to remind myself to be stronger. I turned and smiled at Shen Yuchu. "I know." As I was about to get my car, hurried footsteps sounded behind us. High heels clacking clearly in the night. A slender hand unexpectedly grabbed mine, pulling hard as if with all its strength. The woman gasped for breath. "Xia Chong, why are you walking so fast? I haven't finished talking yet." I turned around, seeing Lu Ruyan bent over, trying to catch her breath. But before I could speak, she looked up and said decisively, "I'm sorry. I apologize." Those 3 words were spoken very naturally, without any awkwardness, completely unlike her arrogance at the party. Then, she reached out and gently smoothed the wrinkles on my shirt. Her serious expression made it hard for anyone to blame her. Previously, in moments without witnesses, she would often be this gentle, making me mistakenly believe that her coldness was just shyness. But now I understood, that was only her way of psychological manipulation, wanting me to return to work for her. Shen Yuchu watched the scene, stepping forward to pull me away. Her voice was clear. "CEO Lu, I've been meaning to say this for a long time. As a married woman, you shouldn't be casually intimate with other men like that. Moreover, your husband, Qi Buxiao, is standing right there." Qi Buxiao looked displeased, advising in a low voice, "Ruyan, we should go back to the company. The secretary said the suppliers can't wait any longer." For the first time, Lu Ruyan ignored Qi Buxiao's words. Instead, she turned to confront Shen Yuchu directly. She gritted her teeth and loudly declared, "I am Xia Chong's wife. What's the problem with me hugging my husband? What right do you have to interfere?" Shen Yuchu looked at me, stunned. Her gaze shifted from Lu Ruyan to Qi Buxiao, then she asked in surprise, "But didn't the 2 of you officially go public yesterday? And there's a 6-year-old daughter too? The whole industry knows about it." Qi Buxiao's face instantly darkened. If it were before, Lu Ruyan would definitely have tried to explain to save his face, but now she just responded casually. "We were just playing a joke on Xia Chong. It's a small pleasure between a husband and wife, don't you understand?" I found this utterly ridiculous. Shaking my head, I shrugged and said, "Lu Ruyan, you are only my ex-wife. We've already signed the divorce papers." My words made a flicker of panic flash in Lu Ruyan's eyes. Not waiting for her to speak, I continued, "I saw the divorce settlement you hid in the drawer." Hearing this, her lips trembled, but she couldn't utter a single word. I took Shen Yuchu's hand, led her away, got into the car, and drove straight back to the company. On the way, Shin Yuchu was silent for a moment, then looked at me with undisguised curiosity. Knowing she wanted to ask about the relationship between Lu Ruyan and me, I simply recounted the entire story. After hearing it, Shin Yuchu began to cry, tears streaming down her face. I awkwardly searched for the tissue box in the car, handed it to her, and asked, "What's wrong? Why are you crying?" She wiped her tears while choking up. "I'm just furious on your behalf. How could Lu Ruyan be so wicked?" Hearing her words, my hand on the steering wheel paused slightly. A sense of warmth unexpectedly welled up in my heart. Shin Yuchu was 3 or 4 years younger than me, still easily moved. A stranger who wasn't truly close to me could empathize to this extent, making me feel that I was not alone for the first time. I gave a faint smile, directing my gaze toward the traffic ahead. "Then next time you see her, remember to give her another good scolding from me." I thought that from now on, Lu Ruyan and I would be 2 parallel lines, never intersecting again. But unexpectedly, the next morning, as I was meeting with the project team, an angry-faced Shin Yuchu walked into my office. Her face, usually cheerful, was now solemn and tense. I waved for everyone to leave and asked, "What's wrong, CEO Shin?" She didn't answer directly, only saying, "Look at the hot searches." I opened the app and immediately saw my name prominently featured in the search section. The keyword Xiaochong, heartless man, topped the list, next to a blazing red flame icon. I clicked on it and discovered a viral interview video. In the video, Lu Ruyan, who had always been arrogant and strong in front of me, was now weeping uncontrollably, choking out. I never expected him to betray me for another woman. I clearly gave him company shares and was preparing to marry him, yet he disappointed me like this. She portrayed herself as a pitiful victim, while I became the ungrateful scoundrel who conspired to bring her company down. Not stopping there, my mother-in-law also appeared in the video, loudly accusing me of frequent mistreatment. She pointed to a scar on her arm, her voice full of anger. Years ago, Ruyan only asked him to take care of me, yet he poured boiling water on me, leaving me severely burned. I endured it without speaking out, thinking of my daughter's happiness, but I never expected him to cause such a disaster. At the end of the video, she and Lu Ruyan embraced, sobbing hysterically. The comment section was filled with insults directed at me. What a scumbag, poor and yet shameless. Sisters, stay away from this kind of man. He couldn't even hold onto a female CEO. Truly, wide-open eyes picking the wrong person. I suggest reporting him to the police. Cheating and abusing the elderly, jail time is what he deserves. Watching the video, I felt a chill run down my spine. How could they tell such blatant lies without batting an eye? The burn on my mother-in-law's hand was clearly self-inflicted when she was careless while boiling water. Yet now they were making me the culprit. I distinctly remembered at that time, she cried, threw tantrums, and even threatened suicide because she couldn't bear the scar on her hand. Lu Ruyan had promised to use her own skin for grafting. But on the day of the surgery, she fainted from overwork. I used to feel sorry for Lu Ruyan when she fainted from overwork, even volunteering to donate my skin to help her mother with the surgery. But now, thinking back, the timing of her fainting was too coincidental, as if everything had been staged. I realized I had been completely played by her. Now that the company was having problems, they were shamelessly turning everything upside down, making me the villain. What exactly were they aiming for? My expression gradually darkened. Shin Yuchu stepped closer, placing her hand on my shoulder as if channeling an invisible source of strength to me. She said seriously, "I can ask my father to handle this. They have gone too far." I shook my head. Shin Yuchu had always strived to achieve success on her own, without relying on her family. If, because of me, she had to break this principle, I couldn't forgive myself. Before I could speak, my phone unexpectedly showed a message notification from Lu Ruyan. "Xiaochong, you've seen the hot search, right? Let's talk." Shin Yuchu shook her head. She definitely has no good intentions. For the first time, I interrupted Shin Yuchu. It's time to end everything with her. I followed Lu Ruyan's instruction and went to a discreet cafe location she named. When I entered, I saw Lu Ruyan calmly drinking coffee. Her meticulously applied makeup couldn't hide the dark circles under her eyes. However, her spirit seemed lifted, even strangely excited. Seeing me, she smiled as if there had never been any conflict between us. "Xiaochong, if it weren't for this method, I guess you would never agree to come find me." I sat down, asking coldly, "What do you want? Say it." Lu Ruyan smirked, her voice full of confidence. Xia Chong, persuade the investor not to withdraw their capital. I can delete that video and generously forgive your disrespect over the past 2 days. Hearing her utter the word disrespect without batting an eye, I found it ludicrous. Did she truly think I was still the Xia Chong of 10 years ago, who treated her like a princess and completely humbled himself? I answered directly, Lu Ruyan, can't we just part ways peacefully? She immediately frowned, her lips tightly pressed, her eyes deepening. After a moment of silence, she said, I fired Qi Buxiao. Tong Tong has also been taken away by him. Come home, Xia Chong. You've been overly jealous this time. I burst into laughter out of anger. Seeing me laugh, she thought she had successfully placated me, and she added another cube of sugar to the coffee cup in front of me, saying softly, drink this, and then go back to the company. The vice president position, the shares, I'll give everything back to you. Seeing that I still didn't react, she continued, stop being angry, Xia Chong. I've started preparing to get pregnant. Wait until the company stabilizes after this listing, and we'll have a baby. That way, you won't suspect me anymore, right? She knew exactly what I desired most, and so she had easily exploited it to manipulate me for the past 10 years. But she didn't know that I no longer cared. I stood up, feeling that there was nothing left to say to this woman. My voice was frigid. Lu Ruyan, we are divorced, do you understand? We are just two strangers now, that's all. Before leaving the cafe, I turned back and said, as for the slanders you made against me, I will have my lawyer handle it. I will reclaim my honor. Outside the cafe, Shen Yuchu was bowing her head, kicking a small pebble with a bored look. Seeing me emerge, her eyes lit up. Done so quickly. I shrugged, forcing a wry smile. She's still the same, it's impossible to talk to her. Shen Yuchu patted my shoulder in comfort. Well, don't think about it too much. I treated Shen Yuchu to a lavish meal as a way to thank her for always supporting me. But what I didn't expect was the speed of Lu Ruyan's company's bankruptcy. It was even faster than the process of the lawyer dealing with her. In just a short time, her company was auctioned off for compensation. She was forced to sell all her real estate and all her years of savings, yet she still owed tens of millions. The main reason for the company's collapse was that Qi Buxiao, before being fired, had transferred all the money in the company accounts and fled abroad. Perhaps Lu Ruyan never imagined that the person she trusted for half her life would deceive her again. In college, she had been swindled out of all her savings by Qi Buxiao, who then pursued a blonde, blue-eyed foreign exchange student and went abroad with her. I was the one who had looked after her and helped her through that difficult time. But this time, Qi Buxiao swindled all her assets again. And this time, I wasn't there. I really wanted to see if Lu Ruyan could stand back up again. Afterward, my lawyer only needed to deal with her in a straightforward manner. Under legal and public pressure, Lu Ruyan had no choice but to publicly apologize, admitting that she had fabricated falsehoods about me. The online community erupted. Some people empathized with me, while many others demanded punishment for Lu Ruyan so she couldn't continue deceiving anyone else. Time flew by. A month had passed in the blink of an eye. In this short period, Shen Yuchu's company had doubled in size, becoming the focal point of the industry. I frequently accompanied her to various large and small events, and tonight was no exception. As I was socializing at a prestigious party, a disheveled woman, looking like a beggar, suddenly rushed in front of me, yelling, Xia Chong, I am your mother. You can't abandon me. Look at my hand, the skin is peeling off again. Can you donate skin for me again? That person was Lu Ruyan's mother. I frowned, about to call the police, when from a distance, a woman wearing a cleaning uniform ran over. It was Lu Ruyan. She hastily helped her mother up, bowing her head and apologizing to me, her voice trembling. I apologize. My mother has a mental problem, she didn't mean to bother you. As she bowed, I clearly saw her tears streaming down, soaking the carpet and creating 2 dark trails. She didn't dare to look straight at me, only kept her head low and quickly helped her mother walk away. I merely nodded, saying nothing more. Then, I turned back, took Shen Yuchu's hand again, and rejoined the vibrant atmosphere of the party. After all, my brilliant life was only truly beginning now.